Well, hello there. This is Jacob Moonrock in Denmark, and hi to everyone, and hi to Brad from H2 Vinyl. This video is an entry for Brad, as I said, from H2 Vinyl, and his contest, the 350 contest, celebrating that Brad has reached the mark of 350 subscribers. This is the second time I'm shooting this video. I have a new phone and I recorded the first one for about 30 minutes, it seemed that my phone, when using the front camera, which I'm using right now, it seems that there's some sort of setting that you have to enable or disable rather, and this function mirrors the video. So what I'm looking at right now or what I was looking at when I recorded it looked right, but then when I played the video, it was all mirrored. And I was gonna say I'm an idiot at tech stuff. I'm gonna change that to I'm an idiot, and I'm not very good at tech stuff. So I was unable to mirror the video. There was not a single program that I could find that could do that. Then a good friend of mine, Karsten, reached out to me and said, well, you have to do this. Download this program and then mirror it. I did, and the video mirrored, but I could not find out how to save the video. So I have to reshoot this, and with that I missed out on the deadline that was, I think, March 5th for you to get 2 entries into the bowl. Now I have to reshoot, and then I'll only have 1 entry, or one name in the bowl. Anyways, that doesn't matter at all. I basically I'm shooting this video because I want to support Brad. I want to support his channel, and I want to show and talk about some records that that fit perfectly for the 3 questions that Brad is asking us. So that's how it is. Hopefully this time it'll work out. If not, then I guess I still have about a week to do a 3rd video. Yeah, Brad, congratulations. You are one of the nicest guys in the BC. I find you, yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Once again, my English fails me. Very likable. You seem like a very, very likable guy. And you're always so polite, and you're always so articulate in your videos. And I learn a lot from you. And also, which is important for me, you show newer stuff. You show electronic stuff. I'm a big fan of electronic music. You show stuff from the 90s and the noughts, even newer records, and I am a big fan of that with your channel. There are a lot of channels out there that primarily show stuff from the 70s or 80s. I personally like to see newer stuff, and you're always a guarantee for showing newer stuff. And then you're a really good buddy because when I won the lottery back in 2018, you sent me the debut album from the French band Justice, which is a killer album, and you picked it out of your personal collection. And I hope that you had a second copy, because I would not be able to live without that album. So Brad, thank you for being cool, man. You're a cool guy. Brad is asking us 3 questions. So it has to do with the number 350, 350, because that's the number of subscribers that Brad has gotten to. So question number 1 is regarding the number 3, and show 3 albums that feature narration. And the first one that came to mind is this. I'm going to show you a CD now. I'm sorry, I don't have this on vinyl. This is a CD from Danish band Kashmir, You can see the band name there, and the album title is No Balance Palace. Kashmir are a Danish slash Swedish quartet that plays rock music. I say played and plays because they've actually disbanded like 5 or 6 years ago, and they've actually this year have announced three new shows. I guess they're making a comeback. I'm not sure whether they're going to be doing new music, but anyways, enough about that. There's a song on here that features narration, and it is the song. You can see the track list there. It's the second to last song, called Black Building, and it's a short song. It's about, I think, 1.5 minutes long, maybe 2 minutes long, and it features that's the band, by the way. It features a guy reciting a poem. The poem is called Black Building. You can see the lyrics there. And the guy reciting these lyrics on this poem, on this album here by Danish band Kashmir, is none other than Lou Reed. I'm not sure about the story on how they managed to get Lou Reed to do vocals or do narration for this track on this album. It might have something to do with another guy who's actually featured on this album that knows Lou Reed, or knew Lou Reed, because Lou Reed is dead, and so is this guy. But this other very prominent man also featured on this album knew Lou Reed very well, and he is featured on the song called The Cynic, which is the title. You can see the lyrics there. And that singer is none other than David Bowie. So you have from 2010, I believe, 2005, Danish band Kashmir, album No Balance Palace. This album features both David Bowie doing a duet on the song called The Cynic, and then Lou Reed reciting a poem on the song Black Building. That's pretty awesome, and I'm not sure that many people outside of Denmark know about this. If you are a fan of either Lou Reed or David Bowie, or both of them, and you are a completist and you want to have their entire collection, you have to get this album here. Now, this was originally only released on CD. It was reissued on vinyl, or it finally got a release on vinyl like 4 or 5 years ago. Those albums sold out quickly and are hard to get and are very, very expensive now. Hopefully, with the band returning and playing some new shows, all of their albums, I think they have like 7 or 8 albums, will hopefully be once again reissued on vinyl. That's my hope, at least. I only have 3 or 4 of them on vinyl, so yeah. That's the first one for narration. The second one I want to talk about, I have the albums here somewhere. Where did I put them? I put it here. Second album I want to show featuring narration is this Iron Maiden album called Power Slave from 1983. I'm good with years today. 1984. And the song in question is the last song on side 2, which is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Now, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is actually a story or a poem, a very long poem, written by Samuel Coleridge back in, I think, around 1830, 1840. And it's the tale of a mariner who was put aboard a boat that had, it had already the crew, and then this mariner joined the crew at the very last minute. This is how I remember it, very roughly, and I might get some details wrong, but look up the story and listen to the song. The story is about this boat that had to go somewhere, and then it just drifted away and ended up at Antarctica. And at Arnica, there was an albatross who told the crew that, you know, I can lead you in the right direction again. Um, but then this mariner actually decides to shoot the albatross. So the rest of the crew on the boat want to get rid of the guy, but it turns out that the boat is actually going in the right direction. It starts to get warmer and warmer, so the crew leave the mariner alone. Um, then they come across another boat in the ocean, and on this boat is Death itself. And Death gets onto this boat with the crew and the mariner and starts, I think, playing dices with the crew members for their soul, and everyone loses except the mariner. So yeah, it's a great story. It's a long story. I'm sure I just messed it all up, but the track is like a 13-14 minute song, and Bruce Dickinson, of course, the vocalist in Iron Maiden, sings some of the story, and then it breaks down in the middle. And then there's this guy whose name I've forgotten now, who actually narrates or speaks the story um, before the music returns and Bruce once again sings. So check it out. This has to be, I think, my favorite Iron Maiden album. You know, it has Aces High, it has 2 Minutes to Midnight, it has Flash of the Blade, it has Power Slave, The Duelists, an amazing album, and The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is a great song that features narration. The third and final album I wanted to show in regards to narration is this one here. This is a newer album. This is from last year. This is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, their album Ghost Teen, and this is the third and final album from Nick Cave, with him dealing with the loss of his son Jack, who I think at the age of 15, in an accident, a horrible accident, he somehow fell out of a window from way up, from high up, and died. So Nick has been, through his music, through his lyrics, through his work, has been dealing with losing his son over his last 3 albums: Push the Sky Away, The Skeleton Key, and then finally this one, Ghost Teen, that came out last year. On this album, this is a double record. The last song, which I think takes up the entire side D, or fourth side on this album, is the song called Hollywood. And in this song, Nick tells about the story of the lady called Kisa. Now, Kisa was, according to the legend, according to the myth, according to the story, was a woman who lived at the time that Buddha was alive. And Kisa lost her son, and she was walking around the village carrying her dead child and asking if anyone could help her. She was desperate to get some help because she could not stand the loss of her son, obviously. Everyone in the village looked at the child and said, you know, your son is dead. You know, you have to accept that, and there's nothing that anyone can do. But she kept on approaching people, and then eventually someone said, you know, talk to Buddha, he might do something. She turned to Buddha, and Buddha said to her, well, if you have to bring me a mustard seed from a house in the village that has suffered no loss, of human life. And Kisa walks around the entire village, asking for a mustard seed, and there are plenty of mustard seeds, but there's no house in the village that has not suffered a loss of human life. And that is the moral of the story. Kisa returns to Buddha and says, you know, we have all lost something, we've all lost someone, and you have lost your son and you have to deal with it. That is roughly the story. And Nick Cave singing about this story on this album here in a high-pitched vocal he's almost crying, singing these lyrics, and knowing what happened to him and knowing what happened to his son. Uh, you have to be a heartless son of a bitch if you don't um, bawl your eyes out listening to this song, listening to Nick's story. Uh, it's a tough listen, but it's a beautiful listen, and it gives you something to think about. Yeah. So those are the three records that I wanted to show regarding narration. The second question in Brad's 350 subscribers contest video is has to do with the number 5, and it is to show 5 albums that you've not shown before or have not shown in a long time. And I picked some albums out that some of them I'm not sure that I've spoken about, and or maybe I have, but it's just been a long time. First one is this awesome Autophone pickup test record that I picked up really cheap. I mean, it's not rare or anything. It's just a fun thing. I actually do have an Autophone pickup. I've not played this album to test the pickup, so maybe I should do that someday. This album features, I think, mainly classical music, also some pop music. I think this is Swedish release or something. There's a lot of Swedes on this album. But yeah, that's a cool one. Also, the label is pretty cool because it has this really old Autophone logo on it, which is awesome. So that's one record I know that I've I've not shown before. The same thing I think goes for this one. This is Primal Scream and their 1991 masterpiece Screamadelica. This is not a rare sight in VC videos, but I've not shown it before. This is an original UK pressing. Has a big tear on the cover here, unfortunately, but the records play fine. The reason why I'm showing this is because Andrew Weatherall, who produced or mixed this album, a legendary remixer, DJ, record producer, passed away not too long ago. I think maybe about a month ago, if not even less. And he was just a genius. And this album is brilliant. So Primal Scream, Screamadelica. Let's see, what do we have next? This one is a beautiful album that I have not talked about, I think. Emmylou Harris, Wrecking Ball. 1995 release, I believe, originally. This is the 2016 deluxe edition that was issued on Record Store Day in 2016. This is a triple album. So it has the original album on the first 3 sides, and then the last 3 sides has outtakes. Produced by Daniel Lanois, and if I have to recommend a track off of this album, it's the title track Wrecking Ball, written by Neil Young, who also plays guitar and does backing vocals, and it's just hauntingly beautiful song. And the production from Daniel Lanois is just outstanding. So the original goes for hundreds of dollars, I'm sure. This should still be available to find for a less amount of money. Emmylou Harris, Wrecking Ball. A beautiful modern country album. Then I wanted to show this one. This is by a Danish band called Spids Nøgenhat, and their album Kommer med fred, which means come in peace. Spids Nøgenhat is the Danish name for a mushroom, which is very, very intoxicating. It's not poisonous, but it gets you high, which, as you can probably tell from the cover of this album, the guys in this band do mushrooms. It's a rock album with heavy psych influences, 8 tracks, a peace sign and everything. And this is actually the very first album that I bought in 2013 when I started buying vinyl again. So that has some significance to me, and I'll have to look up what this mushroom is called in English. I'll put it down here somewhere. So it's Spids and Ninehat in Danish. The fifth and final album that I found that I wanted to show is this one. This is, to some, maybe quite a horrific cover. This is British electronic rock duo, alternative electronic rock duo Curve, and their 1992 album Doppelganger. Curve, like I said, was a duo with what's her name? Tony Halliday and Dean something. I don't recall the guy's name. This is an absolutely outstanding album, one of the best in my collection. Think Garbage, but more rocky, more rockier than Garbage, and better than Garbage. More electronic based, hard-hitting guitars. This is a brilliant album. Curve, Doppelganger. Those were 5 records that I haven't shown before. So that brings us to the final question. And the final question is to do with the letter 0, with the number 0, and it is: name a band or artist that you love but you don't have any titles by. And I had a hard time with this question. I thought long and hard on this question here, and I ended up picking this guy called Olandivo, a Brazilian singer. And the album that I really want to own is this one. So this is Olandivo's self-titled album from 1977, his, I believe, 5th album of his career. He released 4 albums in the 60s and then did not release anything until 1977, which was, I think, his last album. And this album is just outstanding. Everything you would want in a 70s Brazilian album, genres: MPB, samba, slide disco, bossa nova. It's everything you want. An original goes from about $150 if you, I just looked on Discogs, and that's if you want an album that is VG and has no cover. If you do want a cover and you want a record in decent condition, you have to pay around $250. There was a reissue in the Netherlands in 2016, and you can pick up some of, a copy of that reissue for about $80. So it's an expensive record, but it's a record that I need to own. One day I'll probably never get hold of an original, and that's fine. I can do well with a reissue. But that is just an outstanding album. And that's it for this video here, Brad. Congratulations on reaching 350 subs. I haven't checked your channel, but you're probably already at 400 or more. It's well deserved. You have a brilliant channel. You're a really lovable guy. I enjoy watching your videos. I don't always comment, but I always watch because you always have some interesting stuff to show. And keep up the good work. And here's to the next 350. And in no time, I'm sure we'll be doing a 700 subscribers video contest. So stay safe, everyone. Brad, congratulations, and everyone else, I'll see you soon.